Hi everyone, welcome back to your 30-day yoga challenge, Intention. Today's day 10, which means that by the end of today's practice, you will have completed 1/3 of your overall challenge. Congratulations for all of your hard work and efforts. In today's practice, we will focus on core connection. When we talk about the core, we're not just referring to the superficial abdominal muscles, but also the muscles beneath or deeper. This includes the psoas, one of your hip flexors, your transverse abdominis, this sheath-like muscle that sort of makes up the full circumference of your waist, as well as the diaphragm and pelvic floor. Throughout the practice, we'll be bringing more attention to these different areas of the body or of the core so that you feel more connected to it. Let's go ahead and start lying down on our back. So once you're on your back, bend your knees and have your feet on the floor around hips distance apart. The pelvis, okay, the back part of your pelvis, for the most part, I want you to keep that rooted, keep it on the floor. But see if you can slide your hands underneath the lower back. So there should be a slight gap, a slight space between your mat and the lower spine. And this you can think of almost being the natural curve of the lower back. You might be a little bit deeper in that arch. Now with your next exhalation, gently press your lower back into the fingers, into the hands, almost like your lower back is crushing the fingers, but keep your buttocks on the floor. Remember, back of pelvis stays rooted. And then as you inhale, feel that you can arch in a way that the lower spine lifts off of the hands. Okay, maybe not completely, but it's definitely lighter. And then press firmly into the lower spine, into the fingers, pressing the fingers and hands into the mat. And then finding that natural curve a little deeper perhaps as you lift. And do that a couple of more times, pressing firmly into the lower back, into the floor, and then moving the lower back away from the fingers. Notice maybe also there's most certainly some movement in the pelvis. Now slide your hands out and rest them on your thighs, and then continue to do those same two actions. Pushing the lower spine towards the mat, and then lightly arching through the lower spine. Gently push down through the lower back, and then lift through the lower spine. Back of pelvis stays on the floor. Now, stay as you are and come up onto your right big toe. And then see if you can lift your right big toe just about 2 or 3 centimeters. And then repeat. Push your lower back into the floor and find that you can gently arch. Press your lower back into the floor. You might feel a bit of contracting through the front of the hip. And then arch through the spine. Bring your right foot flat, and then we'll do the same thing with our left. Come up onto the left big toe. Bring your left big toe a few centimeters off the mat, and then press firmly into the lower spine. Try to keep your left leg fixed in space. Roll forward onto the sacrum. Arch the back. Press down into the lower spine. You might feel again a bit happening around the front of the hip, and then arch. Place the left foot onto the floor. Draw both of your knees into the chest. You can wrap your arms around your legs and hold onto the wrists, forearms, or elbows, and gently rock a little bit from side to side. Okay, take your left leg straight to the floor, right thigh hugs into the chest, and then reach your right foot high into the air. Interlock the fingers on either your hamstrings, your calf, or the ankle. Okay, the idea is that the leg stays mostly straight. Push firmly down through your left heel. Allow your left thigh to press into the floor, and see if you can squeeze or bend your elbows, I should say, so that the front of your right thigh comes closer to the stomach. Bend your right knee, hug it into the belly, and then release your right leg straight to the floor. Left thigh draws into the chest, hands on shin bone, and pull that thigh in towards you. Breathing in, and then exhale, squeezing the thigh down. Okay, release the foot, legs straight up in the air. Now, I believe there's going to be a few of you at home who are not able to straighten the leg completely, okay, which is going to be fine. But do think of pressing the back of your knee towards the front of your mat. Inhale, and let's exhale, bend the elbows, drawing that thigh closer to us. Bend the knee, hug it into the chest, and then release left leg down onto the floor. Bend both of your knees again, feet flat, and then lift your shins so they're parallel to the mat, roughly. Yes? Then interlace the fingers behind your head. Okay? Maintain the natural curve of the lower back. Elbows remain wide, and then with your next inhalation, gently lift your upper back off the floor. Now, as you're peeling some part of your upper back off the mat, maintain the natural curve of the lower spine. So you should be able to still slide one or two fingers underneath your lower back. Now, stay lifted in your upper back, but can you start pressing the lower back into the floor, where you might start to feel a bit of trembling? Keep the elbows wide, keep the lower back pressing into the mat, and can you lift one vertebra higher? And then come down slowly. Lower both of your feet onto the floor, and then let your knees sway from right to left, right to left, and then lift your feet up once again, shins in line with the ground. I'm going for toes pointing forward here. You could curl them in towards your knees. So either or is fine. And then with the next inhalation, once again, we will lift or peel the upper back off the ground. Notice here how I'm not lifting that much. It's not dramatic, just enough to feel, which I believe you will feel at home. There's already a contracting through the upper abdominals. Keep your elbows wide and maybe lift up one vertebra higher. Press firmly through your lower spine and then reach your right heel high into the air. Rebend your right knee and then lift your left heel high in the air. And then rebend your left knee. Stay as you are and lift one bone higher. And then lift both of your heels high into the sky, where you might end up completely straight with the legs, and some of you may not. Rebend the knees, feet on the floor, reach your arms over your head, and begin to lift your pelvis, as well as your spine away from the ground. Connect with the three corners of each foot, pressing into the floor. And allow the lift of your pelvis here to almost release a little bit through the front of the thighs, the front of hips, front of belly, and then we'll slowly bring our backs towards the floor. Hug your knees in towards the chest. We're gonna reach our feet up and then rock ourselves up towards a seated position, and then step ourselves back into a tabletop pose. Now, hands are shoulders distance apart, wrists below the shoulders, and I'm going to untuck the toes, come onto the tops of the feet. I'd like for you to do the same. And then begin to draw the tailbone up, moving in towards a deep arch of the spine, as we do for cow pose. Inhale, we very much are in cow pose. Exhale, starting from the tailbone, drawing between the thighs, hollowing out the stomach as you move in towards a cat position. Only this time in your cat pose, take pause as you push firmly through the hands so your arms are straight, the shoulder blades wider, and then press firmly through the tops of the feet so as to lift the knees up and away from the mat. Now keep the shin bones, hovering, and see if you can take the flesh of your butt closer to the back of the knees. Bring the knees down into your mat, moving towards cow pose, inhaling, drawing the tailbone towards the sky, crown of the head to the ceiling, and then repeat with the tailbone drawing in towards the thighs, rounding the spine, pulling the center of heart away from the legs, and hovering the shin bones. Stay here. Now maintain the lift of the shin bones and see if you can find the natural length of the spine. Okay? Can I say that? Natural length of the spine, where your spine is a bit more neutral, somewhere in between cow, somewhere in between cat. Hold here, allowing the shoulder blades to not be as wide, almost let them soften slightly. And then knees down onto the floor, big toes together, come towards a child's pose with your knees slightly apart. Resting your body here, breathing in, and exhale. Come into downward facing dog pose. Now, as we hold down dog for a few more breaths, when you breathe out, think of lifting the pelvic floor. So every time you exhale, just lightly think of lifting the pelvic floor towards the line of the belly button. And we're going to stretch our right leg high into the sky. Inhale. And then keep your right leg lifted. Let's slide towards one leg plank. Okay, shoulders above the wrists. Now maintain one line from your heels towards the crown of the head. And then bring your right knee, let's say right thigh, towards the lower stomach. So think of the front of your right thigh coming close to the abdomen, but at the same time as this thigh is moving towards the abdomen, can you find that your tailbone almost points a bit more upwards? And then reach your right leg back and up into the air. Inhale, three-leg dog. On your exhale, look to the hands and step super light, the right foot forward, lowering your back knee down onto the floor. With your hands, with your fingers interlaced on top of your front thigh, push down with your hands and imagine coming into a bit of cat pose, pulling the tailbone down, hollowing the stomach, and drawing the center of the heart in. And then inhale, bend a little deeper into your front leg, release your hands and lift them into the air. Hands come to your mat, plank position, step back. Downward dog, exhale. Breathing in. Lift your pelvic floor, exhale. Okay, take your left leg, reach it back and up, and then bring your shoulders forward over your wrists, one leg plank. As best as you can, keep your pelvis level, keep the hips level, excuse me. And then hold here with the top of your head reaching forward. So continue to gaze down at the front of your mat, and then begin bending the knee like you're moving the top of your thigh towards the lowest part of the stomach. And if you do that a lot, you start to round your spine. So can you actually find a little bit of a release, almost like the flesh of your bum is moving to the sky, but in opposition, keep trying to bring that thigh forward. Three-leg downward dog. Inhale, reach up. Look to the space of the hands, the left foot forward, right knee meets the mat. And then as we come up, we interlock the fingers on the front of the thigh, push down and really imagine coming towards cat pose. So you may not be able to straighten your arms, some of you will. Pull in through the abdomen, pull like you're drawing the front of your right thigh away from the front of the mat, even the center part of the heart, it hollows. And then release by reaching your arms high into the air. Allow the whole front of the body to stretch, and then hands down, plank. Stay here in your plank, inhale. And then we're going to exhale, lower all the way to the floor. Let's take our arms out like a T, so about 90 degrees with the spine. And then we're going to inhale, lift everything up, arms, chest, and legs. Taking the pubic bone and lightly pressing it into the floor. The knees mostly straight. Imagine the outer part of the hips rolling down, and then lift your body higher. And then hands to the floor, lie down, downward dog, exhale. Okay, breathing in and breathing out. Now, bring your right leg forward like you're about to cross the legs, but don't let the shin touch the floor. Or another way to think about it, I should say, is like you're going to pigeon, and then downward dog, let your right foot go back. Do the same thing, left leg moving towards pigeon, but then not letting the shin bone touch the ground. Really point those left toes to the side, and then downward dog. Okay, repeat. Right leg forward towards pigeon. Notice how my toes are really pointing out to the left. Downward dog. And then one more time here on the left side. Bring the left shin bone forward. The knee is to the left, the toes are to the right. Keep bringing the shin bone high. And then downward dog. Okay, cross both legs at the front. and then sit. Both of your legs forward. Now bend your knees and bring your hands at the backs of the legs. Inhale, lengthening the spine, and then leaning back just enough that you can lift your feet. So the shins are, let's say, in line with the floor. If you find that it's quite, you feel like there's too much contracting, if that's even possible, sorry, let's try to say that again. So if you just feel like it's uncomfortable through the front of the hips, you can bend your knees more so your feet are closer to the floor. But if you can, have the heels in line with the knees. We're still holding onto the backs of the thighs. Pull the thighs into the belly. Draw the chest forward towards the knees and keep lifting through the crown of the head. And then in a moment when we let go of our legs, I want your stomach to stay connected to the thighs. Let go. And then cross your ankles. Fold forward. Breathe in. Exhale. Sit tall, twist to the right. Come to center and then twist to the left. Come to center, roll over your knees and come onto your shin bones, really standing up on the knees. The knees and feet are about hips distance apart. We'll just have our hands resting alongside of our body and then drawing the tailbone down. Think of one line from the knees to the hips to the shoulders and simply lean your body back, just a touch. And then come forward as we bring the feet together and sit down. Now having your hands rest right on your abdominals. Close your eyes. Exhale. Feel your next breath in expand into the belly. Exhale. And gratitude to this core for supporting us through all of our movements, for keeping us standing tall and with pride. Thank you all for joining me once again. Until tomorrow, namaste.